Physiological abnormality, neurogenic shock. Simple and easy. What happens in neurogenic shock? Guys, neurogenic shock happens when we have a high cervical spine injury. Why? Because cervical spine injury, high cervical spine injury, we have sympathetic chain along our vertebral column. What happens when we have a high spinal injury? The sympathetic chain breaks. Sympathetic chain breaks. To make it simple and easy, so what happens? Due to sympathetic chain break, we lose our sympathetic activity. So hypothalamus stimulates sympathetic chain, and sympathetic chain release acetylcholine, preganglionic fibers, preganglionic sympathetic fibers release acetylcholine. Acetylcholine goes to adrenal medulla. Adrenal medulla secretes epinephrine and norepinephrine. Now, epinephrine stimulates alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2. Alpha 1 is a powerful vasoconstrictor, but norepinephrine works more on alpha 1. Epinephrine works less on others. Now, we all know that alpha 1 causes vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction increases total peripheral resistance. And from total peripheral resistance, we get increased venous return. From increased venous return, we get increased end diastolic volume. The more blood comes in your heart, the more heart gets dilated, and dilation of the heart is diastole. What happens? Dilation of the heart is diastole. So at full diastole, we get the volume. If more blood comes, let's say 6 liter blood comes, so volume would be 6 liter. So our end diastolic volume would be 6 liter. Now, the more heart will stretch, heart have gates. The more heart will stretch, the gates will open wider. And who enters through these gates? Calcium inside heart muscle. So more stretch, more calcium up to a certain limit. And more calcium, more force of contraction, because heart muscle contraction depends on calcium. So what do we get? We get increased venous return, we get increased end diastolic volume, so we get increased preload, we get increased cardiac output, and of course, due to increased end diastolic volume, we get increased force of contraction, so increased BP. So alpha 1 will increase BP. What about others? Alpha 2. Alpha 2 causes dilatation of the pupil. Not so important, leave it. Beta 1 and beta 2. Remember, we have one heart and two lungs. Simple. So beta 1 will work on heart. It will increase heart rate. So it will increase cardiac output. So it will again increase BP. It will cause bronchodilation. Bronchodilation. So increase oxygenation, increase airway diameter. So that's why we give it during anaphylaxis. And of course, it also causes skeletal muscle blood vessel dilatation. Why? Because we know sympathetic system is fight or flight. Now for fighting, we need blood supply in our biceps, right? And for flight, to take a flight, we need to jump, right? So we need blood supply in our legs. Simple as that. So that's how it will increase blood supply to our skeletal muscle and it has a risk of decreasing the bp. But see, there are two actions to increase the bp and one action to decrease the bp, so increasing bp action will be more. So this is the job of our sympathetic chain. Now when we have a neurogenic shock, that is, this chain is broken. So what happens? Sympathetic signal goes, but it does not reach adrenal medulla. That means we have no nor ap. So alpha 1 gone. So we will have dilatation of vessel, massive vasodilatation, total tone lost, total tone of vessel lost, massive vasodilatation. So decreased total peripheral resistance, so decreased systemic vascular resistance. Same thing, when systemic vascular resistance is decreased, our venous return will decrease. When venous return, heart getting less blood, let's say instead of 5 liter it's getting 2 liter, so heart getting less blood. So heart, to make it more simple, if heart gets less blood, it will give less blood. Simple. Now for medical term, because they give you an exam, so its end diastolic volume will be low, its preload will be low, its cardiac output will be low. When preload is low and end diastolic volume is low, that means heart is stretching less calcium is going in, so less force of contraction. Simple and easy, less force of contraction. So in both way, less bp. So that describes hypotension. Again, we have no epinephrine 2. Let's forget alpha 1 for now. Alpha 2, forget it. Let's talk about beta 1. So beta 1 is increased heart rate. So beta 1 increases heart rate, so our heart rate will be low. No beta 1 activity. Again, when heart rate will be low, our cardiac output is also low, our systemic vascular resistance is also low, our bp will just fall. Baby, I am down. Gone case. Okay, so in case of neurogenic shock, this is the thing, that everything goes low, everything is low.